right, it's time for Show and Tell on tonight's program. Now, last week we spoke with Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson about the U.S. covert war on Iran. And we asked you how far you think those escalating tensions could go between the two countries. So let's go to producer Patrice Innocenti to find out what you had to say.
Over the past several years, we have watched the covert war against Iran heat up. From the Stuxnet virus, explosions at nuclear facilities, to the unexplained disappearance of Iranian nuclear scientists. And just last week, Iran revealed that they were in possession of the U.S. Sentinel drone, which was flying over an Iranian airspace. This against the backdrop of an increasingly heated rhetoric coming from the U.S. political class. From the president.
No options off the table means I'm considering all options.
To the GOP presidential candidates.
If after all of the work we've done, there's nothing else we can do besides take military action, then of course you take military action.
If in the end, despite all of those things, the dictatorship persists, you have to take whatever steps are necessary to break its capacity to have a nuclear weapon.
So do you agree with our guest, Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson, that the U.S. is marching to war with Iran? Well, Steve Pratt said the U.S. doesn't really want to go to war against Iran. It's all about trying to create enough internal dissension to force an outcome similar to what happened in Libya. Alan Beeger believes spying on Iran is necessary. Obama is doing what he has to. But regardless, the next president will be at war with Iran. Turk XI agreed. There is no doubt the U.S. will go to war with Iran. It's all we know how to do in America now, since we don't produce anything except bombs and guns. Paul Coonan added, any new war started by a president in his first term has been used successfully to win a second term. There is a lot of scaremongering on its way. Now, the U.S. going to war with an oil-rich Middle Eastern country, with an evil dictator on the verge of acquiring nuclear weapons, it's a story that should sound pretty familiar to you if you've been awake for the last 10 years. Now, one can only hope Americans realize their sense of deja vu before it's too late.
Now, as always, we appreciate your responses, and here's our next question for you. Earlier in the show, we spoke about the Occupy movement targeting ports along the West Coast. Now, the unions did not take part, and there seems to be a division over tactics and who they really hurt. So let us know what you think. If Occupy continues using tactics like shutting down ports, could it create a split between the movement and the unions? Let us know what you think on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And who knows, your response just might make it on air.